Be highlighting how taxation contributes to nation building. It's often said that taxes are the lifeblood of the government, and for good reason. Without tax revenue, the government would not be able to function. Taxes finance all aspects of public service, from health and education to infrastructure and national defense. For example, the Department of Education uses tax revenues to pay teachers' salaries, build classrooms, and distribute learning materials. The Department of Health funds hospitals, public health campaigns, and vaccination programs. Without taxes, this essential service would not exist. Infrastructure development is another key area. Roads, bridges, ports, and airports are built and maintained using taxpayer money. These structures support the economy by improving trade and accessibility. They also create jobs and increase productivity. In times of disaster, tax money supports relief efforts, helps displaced families, and restores damaged infrastructure. Social services such as the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, which assists low-income families, are also funded through taxes. Taxation promotes good governance. Citizens who contribute financially to the government have the right to demand accountability and transparency. In a sense, taxation encourages civic participation and strengthens democracy. The concept of nation building through taxation rests on the idea of shared responsibility. Every peso we pay in taxes becomes part of a collective investment in our future as a nation.
Let's look into tax reform for acceleration and inclusion law, particularly focusing on its key features. The Train Law, signed into law in December 17, aimed to reform the Philippine tax system by reducing personal income tax rates, expanding the value-added tax base, and increasing excise taxes on several products. Its purpose was not only to provide relief to low and middle-income taxpayers, but also to generate additional government revenue for infrastructure projects, social services, and poverty alleviation programs. One of the most well-known features of the Train Law is its reduction of income tax rates for those earning 250,000 pesos or less per year. Income tax was completely removed. Those in higher income brackets saw significant reductions, which meant more take-home pay of millions Filipinos. For example, taxpayers earning between 250,000 pesos and 2 million pesos saw their tax rates reduced from 32% to 25%. However, to compensate for this revenue loss, the Train Law introduced several new taxes. A notable one is the higher excise tax on fuel, which significantly increased the price of gasoline, diesel, and LPG. As a result, transportation costs increased and the cost of goods and services also went up. The law raised excise taxes on other goods such as tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks. This was done not just for revenue generation but also to address public health concerns. The government hoped that higher taxes on these same products would reduce consumption and promote healthier lifestyles among Filipinos. While many welcome in the income tax cuts, the higher fuel taxes and sin taxes sparked criticism. Particularly the poor and those in rural areas where public transportation and access to affordable goods are essential felt the impact of these price hikes. Many argued that while the Train Law benefited the middle class, it placed a heavier burden on low-income Filipinos. Despite this criticism, the law did fulfill its goals of raising government revenue. These funds were funneled into the government's ambitious build program, which aims to construct vital infrastructure such as bridge, highways, and airports. With all these changes, the train law remains a topic of debate. While it helped millions of Filipinos with lower taxes, the law also faced backlash for the way it impacted the country's most vulnerable citizens.
As we've seen, the train law was designated to benefit the Filipino people through income tax reduction and infrastructure development. However, the full impact of the law hinges on how effectively the government uses the additional revenue it generates. One of the key promises of the train law was to fund the government Build program, which aims to revitalize the country infrastructure by improving the road, bridges, airport, and public transportation. The government sought to stimulate the economic growth and create jobs as more infrastructure projects are completed. Businesses can operate more efficiently and job opportunities will increase. For the law to succeed, it is long-term goals. It is essential to ensure that the benefits of the infrastructure development reach those who are needed it the most. Especially the poor critics argue that while infrastructure projects have been a priority, they must also be matched with the policies that aim at reducing inequality and providing opportunities for vulnerable sectors. Another area that the train law sought to address is the need for greater tax compliance by simplifying the tax system and increase the efficiency of tax collection. The law aimed to ensure that more people pay their fair share, and this could lead to a more equitable distribution of resources, which is essential for inclusive growth. But with rising costs and inflation, there are concerns about the sustainability of the train law's goal. High fuel taxes and the rising cost of living could outweigh the benefit that the tax cuts initially provided. This has raised questions about the law's effectiveness in providing long-term relief for the Filipino people. Policymakers must continue to fine-tune the law to ensure that the most vulnerable sectors are protected. There is a growing call for further tax reform, especially in addressing the increasing gap between the rich and the poor. As the law evolves, there will be likely be debates about whether the law's original intent of equitable growth has been achieved. Thank you.
I'll discuss the future of the train law and the Philippines tax system as a whole. Since its implementation in 2018, the train law has had far-reaching consequences for both the economy and Filipino citizens. Its purpose was to overhaul the tax system with a focus on simplification and fairness. Now, almost a decade later, it is important to assess its impact and consider its future. First, let's talk at the long-term effects of the train law. One of its main goals was to generate additional revenue for government projects, particularly those related to infrastructure, development, education, and health. The tax reform law has played a key role in supporting the government's Build program, which is a cornerstone of the administration's infrastructure development efforts. The sin taxes, which targets products like tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks, have also seen a positive effect on the public health, with a decrease in consumption of these harmful substances. However, while these taxes have generated important revenue, their impact on low-income families has been a point of contention. Critics argue that the law's reliance on consumption taxes may unfairly burden the poor, especially those in rural areas where alternative products are limited. While the train law aimed to reduce personal income taxes for low and middle income workers, the recent spike in inflation and the increase in fuel prices have created new challenge for ordinary Filipinos. As such, the sustainability of the law's positive effects remains a key concern. These are several proposed amendments to the train law. Some lawmakers have pushed for a review of the excise taxes on fuel, as well as further relief measures for low-income families. Others have suggested exploring additional taxes reforms such as a digital tax to address the growing digital economy. The future of the train law will depend on how effectively it adapts to changing economic conditions and how the government continues to balance the need for revenue with the goal of protecting its citizens, especially the vulnerable sectors of society. The train law marks a significant shift in the Philippines tax system. While it has brought positive changes, it has also raised questions about its long-term sustainability and fairness. The continued evolution of the tax system will determine whether it can meet the needs of all Filipinos, particularly those in the lower income brackets.